Hello, everyone. Good morning. You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is Weekend Wake Up. My name is Caitlin Aristizabal, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Leslie Gallagher. Welcome to your weekly dose of lifestyle-ish news, my friends. I know this, I feel like the semester is coming to a close really quickly, and college students are just like, we're tired, but also, how did this happen? So I feel like we're kind of in a weird place right now, don't you, Caitlin? Don't you think, Caitlin? She nods.
Yes, I do. The grass cutter was like really loud for a second, and I was like,
We
it's
love
like coming back and
hearing
forth.
and like
Well,
the
yes,
dorms.
we love hearing all the noises from anything happening around anybody. You know what's funny? My fear every single time I'm on Zoom is that the fire alarm's just gonna go off and somebody's just gonna hear like the loud
I never
alarm.
even thought about that.
Really?
Imagine
Oh my god, it happens to me every time. But not really in class, because like for the most part you're on mute in class. And if it happened in class, like multiple people live on campus, so it'd be actually kind of funny. But like
yeah.
when I'm in meetings, I'm like, bro, what happens if my fire alarm just like goes off right now? Like I really think about that. I'm so serious.
Picture you on the morning buzz and you're talking about something really important and serious, and then it's just like there is a fire because there's like some announcement that comes on, and
I
it's
was just gonna say, I hate that she talks to you. That fire alarm
like
speaks. I
it
hate it.
never lived on campus. It's like a regular like blaring sound, but then also it's like this pre-recorded sound of this woman
It's like
saying,
Siri.
yeah, it sounds like a Siri, and she's just like, there is a fire, please leave, something like that. It's
Yeah,
something more.
like please make your way to the nearest exit or
Yeah.
something.
Oh my God. Well, lucky for you, unless you have Zoom classes beyond like 11 p.m., they only happen at night for some reason here, unless there's a real fire. But every fire drill I've had in the dorms has always been like really late at night, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah, I think this, like since COVID, they're mostly at night. But I remember there was one in the middle of the day once, and I literally had class, and I was getting ready to leave the class, so I just got my stuff, and then I was like, I'm just going to class because what? I'm not going to wait out here,
I mean,
and
you
I went
didn't
to class
get back to
early.
the building, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but yes, you're right. They have been at night recently. Anyway, it's an irrational fear.
Yeah.
Also, being in the bathroom during a fire alarm, biggest fear. Being in the shower.
Yeah. Actually, when I was like in elementary school and I guess middle and high school too, but I was always scared of being in the bathroom during like, during a lockdown because they always had like a procedure where you just like stay in like the stall, but like, oh, that's so scary to me. Ah, anyways.
Yeah.
On this week of getting off track with Caitlin and Leslie, um, we've got Eilish here to talk about the Oscars, controversially, how actually a lot of people did not like them this year. And how we talked about last week, how they were planning on doing something completely different this year, and they did. And I know you watch them, Caitlin, because Caitlin is very into the Oscars,
I watched the pre-show and I watched the Oscars.
And then you
Fun night.
also tell everyone what you do, how you like have your little forms.
Is that a weird thing? I
No,
print
it's
out the
real.
ballot. I print out the ballots every year and I fill them out. I'm like, I have my predictions of who I think's gonna win. So this time I got 11 right on my ballot out of 23, which I usually get like 11 or 12, which is interesting. I gotta try to make it past that goal. But I make anybody whoever I watch it with, I make them all fill out what ballot words? Yes, English. So I make them all fill out the ballot. And the one year, actually, I had a little competition with my friends, and I printed it out for all of them. And then I got a Starbucks gift card, and I was like, whoever has the most, like, can get the Starbucks gift card. But then I won, so I kept the Starbucks gift card
I think that's
that
so.
I bought.
You're like, I just won my own
So
because you're like, it was like your game, but you won it.
yeah, I won it because I just, it happened, and I didn't do it again after that. But this time I won again, but there wasn't a prize, so it's okay.
There was no prize, but
Anyway, yes, I love
give
the
me the pride
Oscars.
of getting 11 out of 23, which is good. But anyways, Ellie, what did you think of the Oscars?
I thought they were pretty good this year. I liked them. It was definitely different.
Everyone can agree on that.
Yeah, it was definitely a little different. I guess that was kind of weird for people to see. And I think that's maybe why people kind of had a negative response to it. But I don't think it was the most terrible thing to ever air, you know?
Some
I
I
think,
people
think people are being
good
too
job.
harsh.
Some
yeah.
people are very dramatic about it and like
That's
some
just my personal.
bad.
As somebody who doesn't like change in life at all, I thought it was pretty cool.
That is true. Caitlin is very how do I describe you? You like routine, I guess.
I
You're not.
do, but I really like that they like not really liked, but it was interesting to see how they changed it, and it wouldn't make me want to stop watching it. But like that's why I want to hear what you think, Allie, because I know a lot of people were like, why did they do that?
Well, I mean, it's not quite like they had much of a choice, really. You know, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. It's still kind of hard to not have it not be online, you know what I mean? And have everyone in one room like we used to and have
Yeah.
hosts, you know? So it's not like they really have much of a choice. And I feel like people kind of forget that we're still in a pandemic and it applies to celebrities too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, people do forget and that's the thing is like I remember watching the Grammys too and how like when people would go to like accept their award, they would, like take off their mask and like that was before vaccinations were widely available. Now that they are, it's better, but also they had to plan the Oscars in advance, so they couldn't have planned for that. But even so, like even with if everyone was fully vaccinated, somehow by that time it still would have been dangerous. I have a
Wait,
theory.
but
Oh,
it was not completely virtual. They
no,
had a
it
ton
was
of
wasn't
people
it that
inside,
all the nominees?
all the nominees, and they had some get like a guest.
That's like a
Like it
lot.
just wasn't like everybody, but they had a lot of people inside. Like it was, I thought that was cool to see because I was like, whoa, I feel like I haven't seen that many people in a room in a really long time.
You know what's
Like I think the weirdest thing was that the fact that they weren't showing clips of the movies and they were interacting with the nominees. Like a lot of people didn't like that, but I thought that was cool.
it's interesting that you just said you haven't seen that many people in one room is when I went to get my first vaccine the other week. It was a really large space because they're getting everyone vaccinated and stuff, but I walked in and I saw so many people because it was just a lot of people in like a giant space, but I was just like, oh my god, this is like weird. I was freaked out. I was like, I haven't seen a crowd in a really long time. It's startling. But anyways, as far as the Oscars, I think a lot of people are over award shows in general, that they're becoming, I don't think a lot of people watch them. Unfortunately, I think the Caitlins of the world are in a minority. Like I don't think most people really enjoy award shows or care about them that much. And that's I think that's it's part of my theory as to why I think the Oscars tried to do something different this year because they were just like, even if it's bad, we want people to talk about it. I guess any publicity is good publicity. I don't remember how that phrase goes, but I don't know.
Yeah. I was gonna say actually the ratings for it had actually this year dropped to the lowest it's ever been, which
That's
like
important.
that's sad news, but it happened. So it actually dropped to under 10 million viewers for the first time ever. They had 9.85 million viewers tuning in. Um, so yeah.
It's
Wow.
so sad because 100% I feel like their goal in making everything different this year was, I mean, aside from the pandemic, but in the way that they ran the show was totally because they wanted to get more viewers, and that just did not work. So that's really sad.
Yeah. It kind of, I guess it backfired on them, which I guess was like kind of the risk they had to take. But even if a lot of people didn't watch it, I know so many people are talking about it. Like, one, we're talking about it right now as like a news show because this is entertainment news. But I know people talking about it with no show, just talking about it in real life about how enraged they are. It was so bad that it made them mad or upset. Which
I want to know why though. like, was it really just the fact that they weren't showing clips? Like, they changed the entire, like, Kyle, our producer in the back, is saying he found it dull and he found the commercials more interesting than the actual show. So, like,
Just
I
like
just want to know more specifically what that means, because I know what I knew what to expect, because I remember we talked about it on the show that they were kind of trying to make it all cinematic and change it. Like, when it opened, it was like opening of a movie, and it was like starring, it was like all the
I thought
nominees. Yeah, so
yeah.
they were trying to do something like that, and that's also like why they were talking to all the people, all the nominees, about like how they got to where they are. And like me personally, I just like stuff like that, and like talking about how their first job and now they're at the Oscars, like that kind of thing.
That is so
Versus that's what they did instead of like showing clips of movies. Like that's how they would
I
talk
wonder
about each
if there was a
nominee.
way they could do both, because I feel like it is cool to see the movies, like just the clips to remind everyone, like, oh, this is this movie, I guess. But I do like hearing the personal stories. I feel like it gives it a certain depth that you may not have gotten in the past, like things that you'd want to know about them, but you really wouldn't know unless you like took the time to like look it up. But instead, they're sharing their stories. I remember one thing was that it was longer this year than it typically is, right?
I thought it was shorter.
It was shorter?
I mean,
Oh,
I
I
don't know. I
haven't.
felt like it ended like right at 11, which is rare because it usually goes over time. But I don't remember now.
I heard someone
Anyway,
say, like the phrase like, oh, 3 hours of wasted time or something like that. And I
yeah,
was
but
like,
they're always like 3 hours. Ali, sorry, I just keep rambling. Could you continue what you were gonna say? I feel like I'm interrupting you.
It's okay. No, the next thing that I was just gonna talk about, I just wanted to talk about like what you guys thought, like, because a lot of people were kind of like saying that like it wasn't like the best show that the Oscars have put on. I want to know like what you guys think some pretty awesome moments were, because I know that there were some cool moments in the Oscars. Um, like one of the cool moments that I, personally thought was really cool. One of the cool moments that I personally thought was really awesome to see on the screen was Chloe Zhao winning Best Director, because she was the second woman to ever win Best Director. And she was also the first woman of color and the first Asian woman to ever win Best Director. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I predicted she was gonna win because there was just so much talk about it, and I was like, she has to. Like, if they don't give it to her, that's really rude. But also, best supporting actress. I don't remember her name, but the actress from Minari, she also won, and I think she was also the first Asian woman to win that award, and that was really exciting. Her speech was so cute too. Oh my god, she was so wholesome. That made my heart so happy. It's amazing to see, and she's like 75 or something. Like, oh, I was so happy for her. That made me very excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, something else I want to talk about that I actually want to get your opinion on was their in memoriam this year. Because I was when I was watching it, I was on Twitter because I like to see everyone else's reactions as well. I like to see everyone's live tweets. And when the in memoriam happened, I noticed that a lot of people on Twitter were very upset that Naya Rivera and Jessica Walter specifically were not featured in the in memoriam. I saw those names come up a lot on social media in regards to the in memoriam. So I just wanted to get kind of your guys' opinions on what happened and how you guys felt about that.
Sorry, the freaking thing is again so close. What's it called? Grass cutter. Um, I honestly didn't even notice that was like that they didn't include them, which is terrible on my part. I didn't see that on social media and I didn't hear about it. But that's crazy because they include so many people in the in memoriam. Like, how do you forget? Like, that was both those names were a pretty big deal. Like, I remember those being all over social media when like it all happened and people talking about that.
I literally was like, I don't know, like for when Jessica Walter, I mean, again, I had to talk about it for the morning buzz, but I was also like internally crushed, because like I watched her And like, I don't know. I didn't actually see anything about this on social media of people being angry about this, but that's because I don't know. I was like with my family on Sunday, so maybe I just like wasn't on my phone that much and wasn't really like paying attention to I don't know like the Oscars like news and stuff, but yeah, that's I can definitely see why people are upset and now realizing that, yeah, because
Yeah.
they're both big names and how do you just like forget people? Like who
Yeah.
did not fact check that? Like that kind of thing I think is like a sensitive topic that has to go through a lot of people. So that's definitely kind of like a big mess up on their part.
Mm-hmm.
What else was weird that I feel like I noticed? I don't know if anybody else noticed this, and I didn't look on social media to see if other people had this thought. But during the in memoriam, like the song that they were playing, it had like slower moments and then faster moments, and I feel like they were matching up the images to the beat of the song. So there was like one point where they were going so fast, like I couldn't even read the names, and then it got slow again, and I was like, "What are they like? Is this importance or are they following the beat of the song?" And I was really confused for a second.
That sounds
But
confusing.
I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but I swore it started going faster in the middle somehow.
Well, if it was confusing as a viewer, no matter what they were doing, it confused you, and it probably wasn't like, I don't know, enjoyable to watch or as
Yeah.
much.
I mean, I also a lot of people complain about the camera angles.
I heard so many complaints about that too.
Yeah, which I honestly didn't notice until people like in our chat for the radio station started talking about it, and I was like, oh, but they were trying to be cinematic, and I think that's the whole point that everybody was just mad about, and I was like, they're trying to be different,
They're trying their best.
like you know.
Well, anyways, Ali, any last thoughts before we wrap up our little Oscars talk?
No, I mean, that's it. I thought it was a pretty good show overall for what they had, and I liked it. I mean, it wasn't my favorite Oscars that have ever happened, I won't lie, but I did enjoy it. I did have a good time watching it, and overall I think we got some pretty good moments from it, and I enjoyed it.
Do you think that the Oscars should keep trying new things and changing each year, or do you think they should go back to like their traditional style?
Um, I think that they should keep I think they should keep trying different styles.
Mhm.
Their traditional style, it was good, and it was, traditional. It was what everyone was used to, but, times are changing. You kind of got to keep up with the times sometimes and find a new style for yourself. And I think that maybe that's just what they're undergoing right now, trying to find their own style, try to
Yeah.
find the next generation of people to get hooked on the Oscars, try to find the next generation of Caitlins.
That's
What?
cute. Everybody's referring to me like that. I'm glad that's my association. I appreciate that. But Ali, I have a question. You said this wasn't your favorite Oscars. Do you, and not to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna put you on the spot. Do you have like a favorite Oscar moment throughout your Oscar watching history? Like I don't know, one specific moment. I feel like the first thing I thought of was when they announced the wrong Best Picture. I think that was a pretty iconic
That's
moment.
honestly the first thing I thought of too, but I didn't want to like say it and like just have that like one thing be the one thing that's in the back of my head. But that was like because that's gonna be something that's talked about forever, and I think it's really cool that I could say that I watched it happen live. You know?
Yeah, that's true. We can always say that. Oh, was that the Oscars when Ellen did that selfie too? Like I'm trying to think of moments in history, and I don't know if you have a favorite, but
I think so.
Oscars. Ellen. I'm looking it up. Ellen selfie. Yeah, it was the Oscars. Okay, Oscars 2014. That was 2004. I really haven't watched an Oscars for so long. Such a
Yeah, the
crazy
Oscars
memory.
for the Ellen selfie was in 2014, and the with the mess up was in 2017.
Wow, that feels so long ago. Also, I feel like a big moment too was when Black Panther won. I mean, now I'm just rambling, but I just want to see if you have a moment. That's
No, yeah, definitely. Also, I think another big moment that's sticking out to me is when Parasite won Best Picture, first international film to win Best Picture. That was a really cool moment to see.
that was a big deal, and I remember his speech for it was just amazing because, or maybe it was one of his other speeches because he won multiple times that night. But he said, if you can get past like the simple thing of reading subtitles, you open yourself up to like a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was incredible because it's true. A lot of people are like, I don't want to watch that because I have to read. And it's like, you can't, that really limits you as a
Yeah.
viewer, as all around. And I really thought Minari was going to win. Like, I was kind of sad about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you thought Minari was going to win. And when I saw that Nomadland won, I was like, oh, wow. I was like, I can't wait to talk to Caitlin about that because she said Minari was going to win.
Yes, I got that wrong on my ballot, if anybody was wondering. I really thought so, though. But then afterwards, I was like, you know what? They wouldn't make two, like, lead Asian cast movies win in a row. And then I was like, I shouldn't think that, but I feel like they wouldn't do that. But
You're not wrong.
I don't know.
How it is,
I
unfortunately.
liked Minari, though. I don't know.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Allie, for coming in and talking about the Oscars. And now to talk even more, I guess, celebrity-ish news. Why do I always say ish? It is just news, right? But no. We've got Issa Winnick here. Talk about fitness and celebrities and fitness. How are you doing today, Issa?
Oh, she's back with her cute background.
Oh, why, thank you. Yes, I'm in the Oscars after party talking to all the celebrities and their fitness trainers about their secrets and tips staying healthy, lean, and awesome and energetic throughout the year and throughout all their film shoots and crazy entertainment careers. So I'm here to hook you up with the latest info.
Do it, Issa. I really need some tips. I'm actually trying to get fit again. Well, and by trying, I mean like I'm thinking about it to mentally prepare for when I do physically actually do it. Killian is laughing at me.
Yeah, because I'm doing the same thing. Like my birthday is very soon, and my plan, I'm telling you, for the last 2 weeks, I was like, I'm gonna work out every day until my birthday. Do you think that happened? I worked out once and I was in pain for 3 days.
You weren't a lot of it was an intense workout. Fair enough.
I didn't even think it was that bad. Yeah, if you ask, Leslie just told you, but like I was walking with Leslie and I was like, every step hurts. I can't do this. Like I'm not gonna make it to SCM. I can't do this.
That does not sound the best.
Walking anywhere during that time was just like, wait, slow down.
It was a rough time. And I'm a tour guide, so I still have to give tours, and I literally was just in pain the whole time. It's fine. We're better now, though.
I'm so sorry. Well, just a general tip for that, whenever people start working out, usually, like, it's also like an obstacle. I remember when I started too, some people go more intense than they're supposed to because there's this illusion in the fitness industry that when you feel sore or if you push yourself really hard, it's a good thing. And while it's good to push yourself and challenge yourself, you have to, if you want to work out consistently, it has to be something that you could consistently do without compromising your health or compromising your physical state, like without hurting yourself. So I completely understand because I've been there so many times. It's called overtraining sometimes. And what you have to do is literally find something easy that you could do. Like I know people who literally have 6-packs and they only like lift weights a few times like during the week, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then they walk and they stay like slim and everything because that's what works for them. That's consistent for them.
Everything's different for everyone too. What works for someone may not work for another person. But what might have been your thing, Caitlin, is your muscles were probably just not used to moving in that way. And then when you did, they were just like, whoa, buddy, slow your roll.
Whoa.
Because a lot of people who like might not know, because I believe you two live on campus. I have been to campus as a commuter. I walk around a lot on campus, and just simply the effort of walking around on our campus, like going up and down stairs, in and out of classes. Some people carry backpacks or books. Like it's cardio. It's a lot of effort. Your heart's pumping at the end. Even if you're just walking, it's a lot of distance you're covering. So like you're getting a lot of good, like you're really getting your blood pumping just by simply walking from class to class. And a lot of people think like, oh, but that's just walking around, that's normal. That's also kind of part of a workout. Like that's a part of like living an active lifestyle. So don't worry, you guys are actually more fit than you think.
Yeah, I do. I have actually noticed that at the beginning of the semester I would be slightly more out of breath from just walking, and now I think I actually walk quicker too. Like what used to be a 10-minute walk is more like 8, if that makes sense. Like just from I don't know, just walking so much on this campus. And like the thing with when I was at home, I wouldn't really walk around much because I was just Zoom University, just chilling at my desk or on the couch. I didn't have
Well, I
anywhere to
think
walk to. So
walking on campus is yeah, sometimes Leslie and I just go on walks, but walking on campus is something that I always felt kept me really fit, especially like our first semester, our first year in college before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened, and I feel like I lost any type of physical well-being that I had. And coming back now is so weird because I'm like, I'm walking again, this is good, but I don't feel the way that I did my first year. So I feel like I need to work out along with that too.
I might actually go out of my way to go to the student rec center and actually work out. I might actually do it.
Yes,
We'll drag
Leslie, I
Caitlin.
invited you one time and then she calls me and goes, I don't have sneakers. And
I
I was
forgot.
like, oh, okay.
I
Well,
forgot
just to like,
to pack sneakers when I came back to dorm. I have them now though. I did get them at some point.
well, actually, speaking of working out and speaking of training like that, I want to also go over today in my segment about some interesting things and interesting patterns that I've come to see when celebrities and their trainers talked about being healthy and well on top of their busy schedules. And most of this advice was taken from Women's Health magazine, what I feel is a very interesting source because they always have cool interviews and they always have someone, whether they're a celebrity or someone in the public eye, speaking about health and wellness, especially when it comes to like women and who want to shape up and just live their best lives and just like ameliorate themselves in the best way. So some interesting patterns I've noticed, especially how you say you work out, how you're like getting back into it and everything. A lot of these celebrities, male or female, have a solid plan with a personal trainer. Like they have a trainer or someone who helps them stay accountable to their goals, helps them first create their goals, track their goals, and then make sure that they're on the right path. So having a personal trainer, in my opinion, while it's not something necessary, just that aspect of having a goal in mind when you're training and then having a way to track it, I feel really helps you stay on top of your like that routine.
Yeah, I've heard that having some sort of goal does help too, because if you're just working out without a goal, that I don't know, I feel like that would be really difficult. But I guess if you can't have a personal trainer, you should just sort of set those goals for yourself. Because personal trainer, I mean, one, COVID, that might be kind of difficult to like meet a new person and stuff, you don't know what they're doing. But you could also, I don't know, I mean, I know some people have like virtual trainers. Is that a thing where people just like Zoom their trainer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. The only thing with that, I feel a virtual trainer, it might be difficult for someone to like stay accountable with you. And in fact, I heard an interesting tip. If you don't have a personal trainer, but you would like someone to stay accountable to, like you have friends, you have family members, someone you could talk to, just say like, hey, I have this goal and I want to track it, but I might not always have the willpower to do it because I'm human. And I was wondering if you could just like empathize and understand what I'm going to be going through and just like maybe check up on me once in a while. Like that's what I started doing with my sister and with my with my parents. I actually did this with my grandmother too, and she would just like stay accountable. She's like, oh, are you making sure that you're staying healthy and fit? Do you want to go on a walk now, this, that? And it was actually, it's more fun than you think, and it's much easier because I thought, wait, a personal trainer, I thought they're gonna set up my whole workout and everything, but no, it's just someone who you stay accountable to and helps you track your progress.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's good to like work out with somebody too. Like if you have a partner to do it with, like my roommate and I would go to the gym sometimes. We've been kind of slacking lately, but that's just because school is crazy. Yeah. But like it's important to have that. And I've always wanted a personal trainer. So it's cool to have somebody to work out with, even if they're not a trainer.
I would pay someone to just push me and make sure I do it.
I totally would pay somebody though. That's the thing. It's terrible.
I would too, because if I was like looking to seriously get fit, like I'm not going to really hold myself accountable. And I don't know, I guess if I could find a friend, but then also if you had a personal trainer who was like, they're like literally being paid to make sure that you stay on your game, that would be cool. I'd like that.
Also another tip that I've realized that I've seen not only for celebrities, but what fitness trainers and many, I would say, fitness influencers recommend is whenever you are training, have a motivating playlist, have a song, have maybe even what's cool on Spotify, there's motivational speeches that you can listen to. So when you don't have that like that effort, or you really can't put your 100% in, you have that playlist that you can listen to, and really that's like a shot of pure willpower. Like it really helps you push yourself. And of course, don't do it in like a dangerous extreme where you're really hurt the next day, or that you could potentially do something that prevents you from training for a long time, like pulling a ligament, or like, I don't know, breaking a bone, knock on wood. But it's something that really helps. And I've noticed myself when I tried it, like working out was just so much more fun, and I just felt so much like more empowered. Like after that, I'm like, okay, let's write this essay, let me crush this Zoom meeting, let me crush that test. It actually really helps, so I highly recommend that too.
I feel like music does have like such a huge influence like that, like with you know, if you're like listening to like really slow music, that would so not be good for a workout. I remember in the past when I have worked out, I've had like play songs that are very energetic, maybe not motivating, but like definitely like energetic, maybe more like pop songs, or just songs I really like where I'm like, woo, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
And I would have to also add another interesting pattern I see with celebrities training. They have such a packed day, and I could kind of relate to that, because I noticed with the semester, I mean, we're all busy with classes. We have so many things, like responsibilities, not only like projects, assignments, but also clubs outside of school. Some of us are working internships or looking around like for part-time jobs, or even getting to our professional careers. So it's sometimes really hard to fit in that fitness throughout the day. So what a lot of these celebrities do, I call this being the quote unquote part of the 5 a.m. club, which is they wake up very early and they get that done in the morning. Like I believe there was an interview with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and they asked him, like, sometimes you have to be on set for filming a movie, like at about 7 or 8 a.m. till about like 12, 14, 15 hours sometimes. How do you get a workout? And he says, oh, simple. I just wake up 3 hours before I'm supposed to actually be on set. I work out. So sometimes he wakes up 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And I know same thing, Mark Wahlberg. He has a crazy routine where he wakes up at 2 a.m., works out, then he has meetings, then he works out again, and he does other things. So they really structure their day. But not only that, but they usually wake up very early and they go to bed really late, which I don't recommend. But yeah, 5 a.m. club, it's something that really helped them get in shape. And I was wondering, what is your opinion about that?
Wait, you said they go to bed late and wake up early?
Sometimes for such situations, yeah, but then they say they have to catch up on their sleep, like when they're off set and everything.
I was gonna say, like, I would actually want to try getting up super early to work out, because that sounds kind of cool to, I don't know, like start your day like that and like force yourself to get up early. Like, as much as I am, like, I love sleep and everything, like that does sound kind of cool, but at the same time, I can't get up at 5 a.m. if I'm going to bed at 1 a.m. So I'd have to like completely change my life if I was going to do that. I don't know.
I go to bed at 2 a.m. I can barely wake up at 8. So
yeah, I could
but
barely
like
for the show today. So
if I go to sleep earlier, I would wake up early to work. Oh, geez, words. I would wake up earlier to work out, because I've always wanted to try that, and I feel like when you work out, it makes you more energized. So I feel like I'd be ready for the day, like that whole idea, but I've never done it. And Leslie and I talked about this before too, like holding each other accountable to get up early and like walk around campus. It's really pretty in the morning, and we have yet to do that. So
2 weeks ago, and then we just like didn't do it. Well, anyways, thank you so much, Issa. I feel slightly more motivated to work out than I did before. And that's always a good thing.
Of course, I'm happy to be of service and provide interesting workout, fitness, motivation, and information. Once again, thank you guys very much. I'm Issa Winek, and remember, stay healthy and stay awesome.
Yes, I'm going to try to stay awesome. I'll do my very best. And hopefully you're staying awesome. And I know you're awesome because you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And this is We Can Wake Up with myself, Leslie Gallagher, and my co-host,
Caitlin Adistisava.
Wow, we love a good segue. The station ID, and then I randomly start singing. It's fine. it's the morning, you know, we're just
We're
vibing.
vibing.
We're vibing. Well, we do have some interesting travel news. Kayla, if you had to pick one place in the whole world that you could go to, like, what's your number one, like, top place that you'd go to, or country?
Well, if there's a place that I want to open that I could go to, it's Europe, because my grandmother wants to go to Portugal with me. We're supposed to go last summer, but then of course pandemic, so we couldn't go last summer. And I saw her, I talked to her the other day, and she was like, "Is Europe open yet? Do you know?" And I'm like, I don't think so. She wants to go so bad. Like that's the reason she got vaccinated. She wanted to travel, and I mean, I'm glad she got vaccinated. But yeah, that's like the goal. So she keeps waiting to see if they're gonna open it up to Americans.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, is that they actually are. And I was actually kind of surprised when I saw this, but a story from the Good News Network actually said that Europe will open its doors to vaccinated American tourists this summer. So I guess if you're traveling, I guess you'd have to prove that you were vaccinated fully. But
Yeah,
that's really exciting news.
it's not official yet. Like they're saying that some people have um oh,
Yeah.
what's her name? The oh my god. Like the president of the European Commission has like they're talking about it, but it's not like official with like guidelines yet. So they're kind of talking about how they want vaccine passports, and I think they're trying to figure out how to go about it, but they haven't done an official announcement yet. So I'm excited, waiting for that.
I guess you'll like have to pull out your boarding pass and all the essentials and your ID and your little vaccine card. You just
See,
gotta have
this
all.
is why I'm mad that you have a little vaccine holder card thing that I didn't get when I got my vaccine. I just have a loose paper.
Yeah, they gave me like a plastic cover thing, like a very secure cover at the place I went to for my vaccine, and it was really fancy. I was like, ooh, so I won't lose
So
it.
lucky. Oh,
She's jealous.
Kyle just asked a good question in the background. He said, "Is airport security going to
Oh,
take longer?" I feel like you meant that as a joke, but because you said, "Oh no," but like also that's a really
no,
good
that sounds
question.
serious to me. It probably
It's a
will
good
take long.
question.
I hate airports and how long they take and how many things that you have to like show them over and
See,
over.
I love airports.
I know I like the energy of airports. It just stresses me out when I'm like, wait, where's my boarding pass? Because I think I'm gonna lose things, and I get paranoid about losing things because I lose
Being
things.
being in an airport makes me feel like an adult. I'm like, oh, I have my boarding pass. Here's my
I
ID. Here's my ticket.
I I, I don't know. I haven't been in an airport actually in about a year because you know it's funny. Okay, I'm gonna tell a little story. The last time I traveled, because I this is the second time I ever left the country. Is the story I'm about to tell. I don't really travel much just because expenses and like school and stuff. But the last time I traveled was early January 2020, like right around the new year, and I went to Mexico. And it was like before the pandemic was like had hit North America, and before people were even talking about it on the news like here. And very convenient that my family traveled right before the pandemic. But yeah, last time I traveled
I
Mexico.
love how I think there's a lot of stories of people who happened to travel right before the pandemic happened, and it was like you at least you got that last trip in right before then, which I think is really interesting.
Took it for granted. I should have been like, yes. I mean, no, I really liked Mexico and I took in every moment. It was fantastic. But I also didn't know I would not be able to travel for a long time safely. I mean, I know some people are traveling during the pandemic. Now it's becoming, I guess, a little bit safer with vaccinations and stuff, but like, I don't know, you can't know the future. So probably a small part of me I did take it for granted because I didn't think a pandemic's possible. That's not on your mind when you're just like living your life, you know?
Yeah,
Ugh.
I think the last time I traveled was the end of March into April of 2019, and it was senior year of high school for my senior trip to Disney World, and that was the last time I was ever on a plane.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Is Disney, I always mix them up. Is Disney World in California or Florida?
Disney World is Florida, Disneyland is California.
I am never going to remember that. Every time someone brings it up, I have to ask. I can never remember that.
Okay, well, I'll help you. I'll help you.
Maybe like
Disneyland is the original, and it's smaller, and Disney World is bigger because it's the newer one, and it's the one in Florida is way bigger than the one in California. So
so.
Worlds is bigger.
Land does sound smaller than world. That makes sense, actually. Huh. Okay. Also, Kyle in the chat just put in a good tip too. Disneyland, how the word or letters
Letters.
LA are in land, like
Like
how LA is
California.
in California.
Oh, that's
Maybe,
actually really good. That's an even better way, Kyle. Thank you.
oh wow.
I like
Now I
that.
guess I don't have an excuse. I'm still gonna forget, I feel like. But now I have tricks
You
to
will.
remember. I don't know why it's so hard for me to remember like little things like that, like land. Because I've actually been to Disneyland, but I was like 3 or 4 and I don't remember any of it. So yeah. And that's on being the third child. But anyways, I didn't have plans to go to Europe I mean, in the near future. I mean, I do want to go to Italy when I graduate, but that was pretty much my only very vague plan in my life. But
Oh my
still,
God. I want to go to Italy. I always wanted to go to the part that's going underwater right now. What's it called? That's depressing. I've always wanted to go there.
that's so sad.
Venice. Yeah, I thought it was Venice, but I didn't want to be wrong. Kyle just said it. I think it is Venice. I've always wanted to go because I went to Las Vegas like maybe 4 years ago, and they have the Bellagio. Is it Bellagio? The hotel that like you know how all the hotels are different areas and stuff. Like they have the Paris one. They have the well the hotel that I guess resembles Italy, like the where all the shopping centers are. They have like the gondolas, and it's like all beautiful. Yeah, I always want to go there in actual Italy, not the Las Vegas version.
I don't know what my family has this little tradition, I guess, where we take a trip whenever someone graduates college. And I'm the third child. For my brother, we went to Aruba. For my sister, last year, like I said, we went to Mexico. And, you know, my family knows that it's not like I don't like the beach, but I am more of the kind of person who would rather go on a trip to like explore a city, like learn historical facts, visit museums, visit like art and stuff. Like that's more my speed. So they were like, we're probably not going to go on a tropical beachy vacation for Leslie. We're probably going to go somewhere like that's like a cultural exploration. Since we are Italian, I was like, we should go to Italy.
Oh, that'd be so cool though, because I feel like your whole family would be into that.
I'm so excited. I don't know. We're brainstorming places where we could go for mine. Cause it's not, like I said, it's not like I don't like the beach, but it's like, I don't know if I'd really want to do that. If it was like my graduation, like gift celebration, I'd probably, I love exploring new places and learning things and just experiencing culture, especially since it's our culture too. So
yeah. I know it's not out of the country, but I recommend Hawaii because I've been to Hawaii and Hawaii is beautiful. It's a very expensive trip. It's not the cheapest trip you can take, but it's
talking about
gorgeous.
Italy. I guess I'm not thinking about finances at all, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But Hawaii is just, I've never been in a place with more perfect anything. Like the perfect weather. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Like, you know how not yesterday, the other day it was like blazing heat. It was just so hot.
It was,
and then like
that day, and it was
pretty. What?
It was up to like 80 degrees.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't what?
It wasn't too humid.
It wasn't humid. It was just like heat, like hot air.
And normally our campus is very, very windy.
It's very cold on campus.
Normally when it's hot, it doesn't even feel hot. But that day when it was 80 degrees and it was like almost no wind, it was super weird because it was just like, there was like literally like, I guess no circulation in the air. Like we're used to wind. So when it was hot, we were like, oh, you know, because like normally when it's like, let's say 40 or 50 degrees, I get excited because I'm like, oh, that's not that bad. Because in my mind, it's not, because we just came out of winter when it was like, you know, negatives. So I'll dress for like 40-degree weather and then I don't counter in the wind and then I'm cold the whole day.
Well, that's the one thing you learn at Montclair, that the wind always
I learned
everything. You have to consider the wind. but there was no wind on that day that it was like 80 degrees. So it was just like standstill heat, I guess. And it's not like that in Hawaii. Like, I'm just telling you, when it's hot, there's like the perfect breeze. It's a little cooler at night. It's like a perfect summer day all the time.
Yeah.
It's just wild. And I
Okay.
don't know, it's just the most peaceful experience ever. But that's my rambling.
Yeah.
We'll see where you go when you graduate. I'm excited.
See, now we're talking about travel. I'm just like, I want to go somewhere now.
The good old days.
Old days when we didn't even know that this would happen, and that, oh man, travel. But yeah, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Scotland. I guess a lot of places in Europe. So I hope
really
Europe accepts us, even though we're Americans and we're not, we don't have the greatest reputation.
She said, I hope Europe accepts us. Oh my God. I mean, I do too, but
for who we are. But also, I don't want to I don't want to make the world like a more dangerous place. Not that I'm personally.
yeah. Like, we're trying to get through the pandemic, not make it worse.
Yeah, we're trying to get through the pandemic here. So I'd really only want them to open it if it was safe. Like truly and actually, and make sure, people are vaccinated. What if a thought just popped into my head? What if people, like, because they want to travel so bad, like, how is it possible for people to like fake a vaccine card thing if they didn't want it, but they wanted to travel?
There's that stuff's gonna happen for sure. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
People are very anti-vaccine, but they also wanna be free because we're in a free country and all their other arguments. So I would not be surprised if there was some like black market version of like trying, like, getting a fake ID, but a fake vaccine passport.
Like, all the teen dramas of like, we're getting fake IDs after school.
I never understood that.
I know. It's just like, bro, wait for your time. It's good.
Wait for your time.
And now watch there be a teen drama 10 years from now where they're like, guys, we're getting fake COVID cards after school because we're 15 and we can't get it yet.
They need a fake ID too then. A fake ID and a vaccine. Oh, wow, you know what I realized though? That means that, like, families, if you have a child under 16,
yeah, you can't travel.
Like, you can't travel unless the kid gets a negative test, but that's more work.
Yeah, that's the sad thing is like anyone under 16 can't get it, which is sad because I feel like I think it's like the younger you are, technically the more at risk you are, just because, like, I guess immune system wise, and that's like kind of scary.
Yeah, that is
it's
scary.
Older. I mean, it's old if you're a senior citizen, if you're older, but it's also if you're really young. So it's on both sides.
Okay.
But yeah,
we'll see what happens with travel, and hopefully Leslie and I will come back and talk about this again, because maybe things will start changing in the coming weeks about travel, and that's exciting to hear about.
Hopefully there's a little bit of an update, and we can hopefully Caitlin can go to Portugal safely, of course.
Safely, 100%. We'll see what happens, but let's jump over to Jake, who's here to talk about music.
Jake gets music news.
Hello. Oh man, yeah, lots of music. Can't travel right now, but you can listen to music. So
true.
This might be a bit more of an uplifting segment. Okay. So I want to talk
to another world.
Yeah. Travel to music land. All right. So I want to talk about some really interesting music news first. First is that Billie Eilish reveals the next single from her upcoming album, Happier Than Ever. I think the album is coming out in like June or something. This article is from Billboard. This single is coming out. Well, it came out, but
this is a pre-recorded show, everyone. So at our time,
it's funny. I thought I'd be able to listen to it in time, and it said it's coming. The album's coming out July 30th. I totally forgot time zones are a thing. It says it's coming out at 9:00, and it's 9:30 today. And I totally thought that I'd be able to listen to it before we recorded this, but
I was even gonna ask you that before the show. I was like, did you check the time zone? And then I was like, nah, you probably did.
Yeah, no, you think too much of me.
Too much faith.
Yeah. But no, there is a nice little snippet that was posted on Instagram, and it does look like it's embracing a more acoustic sound, which is cool because I don't think if I'm like, I don't know, I'm not too familiar with her discography, but I don't think that Billy's ever really explored an acoustic sound before. I think most of it's been more electronic.
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
true.
if anything, well, I guess technically piano is acoustic, but like, you know what I mean, acoustic guitar.
Yeah, it'll be
Um,
interesting to hear that side of her because I think Billie Eilish always loves to say that she doesn't want to be categorized into a genre. In
yeah.
all her music, we kind of see something
Mhm.
different.
Oh, 100%. And it is interesting, even from like the cover art with, the new bleach blonde hair and everything. It seems like she's embracing a whole new aesthetic, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I've always felt that that was like a really powerful tool to like make artists kind of stay relevant, Like when it's the same thing over and over again, it's like, I don't know, it almost sort of stereotypes them. I don't know. Like they just become a caricature of, their original selves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what this like little I want to say persona, maybe just a different side of her that we haven't
Yeah.
seen, and that's exciting.
Yeah. I'm always a fan of when artists explore new types of genre in music because I don't know, I find it interesting if they change their style a little bit and just, I don't know, innovate and just try something new. But she did have like a snippet of her song on Instagram. This is the single that in our time hasn't come out yet, but by the time this episode airs, it will have come out. But this is a snippet of Your Power. Try not to abuse your power. Wow, that was like what, like 5 seconds, but that was really pretty.
Yeah, no.
She has a pretty voice.
Oh, totally. And yeah, just hearing that with the acoustic guitar, it's definitely something else, something we haven't really heard before.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited now that clip got me really excited because I think that sounds so beautiful and I want to hear more, and I also like the album title Happier Than Ever. That seems like it has really good
It is, and it is kind of a nice like, I don't know, departure, because I don't know, I guess When We All Fall Asleep kind of had this kind of spooky vibe to it, and now it's happier, I don't know, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely different for her, but
Yeah.
different isn't bad.
Oh, of course. And moving on to things that are different, so there's gonna be a Great Gatsby musical,
No.
and get this, the person writing the music is Florence Wench, which you might know from Florence and the Machine.
I was just gonna ask, like, Florence and the Machine? Florence? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yep, that one.
Wait, that's
Florence.
so interesting to consider that with the Great Gatsby. Actually, that'd be
Right?
kind of cool if it was like her type of music in the Great
Yeah,
Gatsby
I could
musical.
totally see it working. And I think it's actually perfect because on one hand, like, I feel like a Great Gatsby musical, it has to be grandiose and it has to be
Oh,
like large, of course, but it also requires a certain sensitivity, And I
Yeah,
think
and I
she's
feel
just
like,
perfect for that.
yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I think her music would be great for that. It wouldn't be so like show tuney, if that makes
No,
sense, I
yeah,
guess.
because if you just make it
Different.
like all happy, you
Yeah.
kind of undermine the point.
it is
Oh,
not.
she's a good person for this. I'm
Yeah,
very
isn't it
intrigued.
funny? I remember like when I was in high school, people, I don't want to like, I don't know, low key call anyone out, but like people were having like Great Gatsby themed Sweet 16s.
That
And
is
it's
so.
like, that's not the point. Like, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong, the aesthetics a vibe, but like, I
One
don't
of,
know.
one of my prompts was great Gatsby themed, and I thought it was
Like,
so weird because
you
I'm
could
like,
just say Roaring 20s
I was like,
because
yeah, why
like,
did we just do a Roaring Twenties theme? And also, like, how is it a Roaring Twenties theme when we're all wearing like modern clothes and stuff? Like, what is even the point of that? Like, the only thing that was Great Gatsby themed were the invitations, and everything else looked like a normal prom.
yeah, oh,
So,
wow.
I don't know. But okay, so the reason I keep saying like, oh no, is because I really, not that I don't like the movie, but I'm not a huge fan of
Oh,
how
the, which movie?
the Great Gatsby movie.
The
Because,
recent one? There was one in like the 50s too, and the
oh
30s.
yeah, I've only seen the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
I watched the original. I kind of forgot about that
That
one.
movie is pretty wacky, isn't it?
There's a lot going on in that movie. It's not at
No.
all how I pictured the book. They also changed a
Oh,
major
totally.
story element as well, which
Oh,
I
really? What? Which? Oh, man.
so in the
The book
movie,
was written in the 20s, people. If you don't know it, too bad.
So the book is the perspective of this side character, Nick, who's
True.
sort of a fly in the wall for a lot of it, but then he becomes more involved in Gatsby's life as, like the book goes on because, yeah, he becomes his friend and whatever. But, like, it's from his, like, kind of fly in the wall perspective, but in the movie, they have his, like, narration, and they put that in the story as, like, he's talking to, like, a therapist,
Oh yeah,
which was
I
just
remember
really,
that.
like,
Yeah, definitely an interesting
I didn't like
framing
that.
device.
I feel like it wasn't necessary. And also, I feel like voiceovers, I think part of the art of filmmaking is like not using voiceovers because voiceovers, I mean, sometimes they can be effective for sure. But so when they're guiding the story too much, it's like show, don't tell, like the first thing you learn in like third grade English class. So some of the voiceovers for me were just like they could have shown this. When I
Yeah.
read the book, I had a very clear image of what I thought it would look like, and it was like chaotic and I don't know, like grainy, and it had this image in my head. And when I watched the movie, it was like really different. People have different visions and stuff, but it was like
Oh,
not at
totally.
all.
And I think it's worth mentioning that that film was directed by Baz Luhrmann, he's kind of known for his style of making films that are very over the top. I don't know if you've ever seen Moulin Rouge or um,
Wait,
Romeo
that's
and
the
Juliet.
same director as Moulin
Yes.
Rouge?
Yeah, and also the Romeo and Juliet that came out in the
Yeah,
90s with Romeo. Like that movie
wasn't a
is
fan of that either.
so crazy and over the top.
I wasn't a
And
fan
So
of
interesting.
yeah,
that
I think when you get that, it's kind of his style and it's kind of what he's going for.
movie.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I remember not liking the Great Gatsby movie, but I remember I kind of liked the Romeo and Juliet movie because I was just like, this is insane and I love it.
Yeah, I
And
have mixed feelings about Romeo and Juliet. That movie, it was interesting, but
oh,
I
I mean, it's
totally.
more modern.
I
It's,
hope for
it's
the
cool.
I'm always a fan of a good musical, and honestly, putting music to the story of The Great Gatsby has got to be so interesting because there's so much
That would be interesting.
that like I feel like when there's like a lot of overlapping arguments that it's going to be like a song, but it's going to be like a chaotic song. Like that sounds so
Oh
interesting.
yeah. Oh yeah. I could see a lot of like, I don't know, motifs and stuff.
My only hope is that they base it a little more. I know that story structure is different from like books to plays to movies and such, but I hope they
Oh
base
yeah.
it more around the book than the movie because the movie did change the
Oh,
story.
100%. I'm sure it's more focused on the book. I feel like there hasn't really been a definitive Gatsby movie yet. Like, I don't know. Like, I know some films kind of get their definitive movie. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's hundreds of examples, but I don't know. I feel like none of the three I have really like overshadowed the book. Like, Great Gatsby's always been known as a book, and I don't know. Maybe that's just because school. Like, but
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there. Most people think of the book. Most people haven't read the book though. Most people have seen the movie. That's the thing.
oh really? I don't know. I just think
I know a
because
lot of people I know are like, oh yeah, I haven't read the book, but I know the story. I'm like, then you don't know the story.
oh.
True.
Okay, so from there, I wanted to get into some music I want to give my thoughts on. So the first one I wanted to talk about was a single from a band I have been falling in love with recently called AJJ, formerly known as Andrew Jackson Jihad. Um, and the single is called, two songs, it's called Motor Away, and I Want to Be Your Dog. Motor Away is like, all right, the vocal distortions are kind of crazy, but it's like an okay song. The other song is called I Want to Be Your Dog Too, and it's so crazy. But it's so sweet and very, just the production is so interesting, and there's so much going on with the instrumentation. There are these bells, really slick electric guitars. I highly recommend the song and this band. They have a way with words, is how
So
I'll put it.
cool, cool titles, song titles.
Yeah, no, they're good at those. And they have amazing lyrics. The next is a band called a single by We Are the Union, a ska band. Their lead singer recently came out as trans, and I think this is kind of about that. And I don't know, ska music with good production is amazing. And this is a really good example of that. Like when you hear the horns and they sound clean and nice, it's just perfect. Highly recommend.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. The other one is Worth It by Amber Mark, who is pretty big. I've never heard of her before, but this single's getting lots of buzz. There's really cool production elements. It's very chill. It's kind of like an R&B song, I think. But I don't know. It's genre-wise, I'm a little confused. And also another single, Please by Jessie Ware, a kind of synthy disco pop, very chill. It's kind of odd because it's like a dancey beat, but like the song is not really something you dance to. It very 80s, very synthy, but okay.
I love when
Yeah.
it sounds like synthy. Like it's just funny.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big like the trends now. Especially like with The Weeknd, I feel like that's a big like
Oh yeah.
who kind of set that standard for around now.
That makes
That's
sense.
true. Oh, he's awesome.
Well, anyways, thank you, Jake, for coming on and talking about music.
Oh, sure.
Always love to hear new music. I'm gonna listen to these. I'm excited for the synthy disco pop one in particular.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You're like, you kind of dance to it, but not really. That
I think you'll know what I mean.
I guess I'll have to tune in to figure it out. And speaking of tuning in, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this has been We Can Wake Up with myself, Leslie Gallagher, and my co-host
Caitlin Aristizábal.
And we hope you have a good week. I hate ending things.
Yay.
Or no.